training as a bombardier. And as a bombardier, I had this reason it took me all the time in the service. I was always in school. And as a bombardier, I had aerial gunner training and dead reckoning navigation. And then I can't remember what phase it was, somewhere along the line, I guess it's previous to going my bombardier training, that I had to take, they sent me to a college training, I think it was 5 months, to qualify me, so I was smart enough to be a cadet. And so I had all this training, and then when I finished bombardier training, I was my fellow people who finished bombardier training with me went to were assigned as bombardiers, and me and just one other person was pulled out because we'd had some mechanic training, I suppose, and sent to B-29 training. So then I went through B-29 training, and then the overseas training and bombardier training. And that's when the atomic bomb was dropped, when I finished my overseas training. So on your question about did I enjoy the service, well, yeah, it's kind of educational. I kind of enjoyed the service, all that training. The college training and bombardier training and navigator and aerial gunner and B-29 training. However, it wasn't all fun. There's times when you don't appreciate the discipline, and my training and the mechanic was down to Keesler Field, Mississippi, and I had boils and heat rash down there, and I was really unhappy down there. So it wasn't all fun, but as a rule, I appreciated my service.
What was a typical day like?
In the service?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be training I would be in one of those training programs. Like I mentioned, those.
But you had to get up and go at a certain time and whatnot. You had a schedule, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what he wants to know, what your schedule was.
Oh, the schedule would, they would, they'd blow, I can't get him up, that trumpet, they blow, I can't get him up, can't get him up in the morning. And then we'd go to our training, and at taps, they'd roll the taps, put us back to bed. But it was I didn't like the service well enough to stay in. I was glad to get out.
So you got out about the same time as Pearl Harbor happened?
Well, I got out. No, I got out. About the same time.
Well, you got out when they dropped the atomic bomb.
Yeah, they dropped the atomic. Well,
They
no,
were
I got out
to leave.
No, I went into service in Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
But I got out of the service when they dropped the atomic bomb. And that was in 45. I think August of 45, I think. So that got me out of the service. And I was glad to get out. But if I'd stayed in, if they had not had the atomic bomb, I'd been over bombing Japan with B-47. So I escaped all the military fighting by going through all that training. Took me about 3 years.
And then after the military is when you served your mission?
Yeah. So I wasn't very anxious to go on a mission. I'd already been away for 3 years. And served a mission for 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
But, and that mission was in Texas, mostly. Texas and Louisiana. Yeah.
Well, we were also interested in your business, how you started Trend Interiors.
How did you start Trend Interiors? When we were in Seattle, we were up there for 6 months, and a lot of people were doing do-it-yourself stuff. And we thought, well, that should go over good in Logan. We weren't going to stay in Seattle. He wasn't happy with the 8-to-5 job, so we came back and decided we'd start our do-it-yourself business. We ordered unfinished furniture. Up there, everybody was getting unfinished furniture and finishing it, and thought, well, that'd be fun. Well, we got the furniture, and nobody wanted to finish it. They had him finish it. But we went into the model airplane and handicraft stuff. I had learned how to make wood fiber flowers from what do they call it? From some little something that they got from the Formosa tree somewhere. And so I was teaching classes in that. Yeah. We had the supplies for that and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And he was doing the refinishing of. And we also sold model airplanes. We had a lot of that. In fact, and hula hoops.
Our business started out as Modern Trend, the do-yourself and hobby trend. Then we got into the drapery do-it-yourself and switched over to Trend Interiors.
We got into the drapery business because some man had been in it, and he didn't want to do it anymore. He wanted to get rid of his samples, so he wanted us to get them. And I don't know why we decided we could do it, but we did. We bought his samples and started getting into the drapery business. Well, we had a lady...
and we went to Denver one time.
Well, yeah, but not until after we were in it for a while. We got hold of the lady in the college that taught sewing and stuff to help us make our first pair of draperies. And from then on, we were on our own. And so that's how we had, what's her name, come from the college to help us learn how to make draperies.
Helped us know how to make them.
And so that's how we got started. We didn't have a work table or anything. It was crawl on the floor to measure the drapes and hope we got them straight and whatnot. It was a meager beginning, but it's worked out good.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Yeah. We'd get the kids to bed, then we'd work on drapes.
And now a lot of your kids work with you.
Yeah. Yeah, the boys kind of started working for us when they went to college, and that was part of their training and their earnings. So. So we kind of drifted into it.
All right. How about children, and what's it like being a parent, and how was that experience?
Well, we have 7 children, and being a parent changes your life, as you know, because your time is not your own anymore, and you're worried so about doing the right thing for them. You want them to be better than you were and to be special. So you're always trying to make things better. And it's getting up at night, taking care of them when they're sick and all that stuff. But it's very rewarding in the end. Even at the time when they're a little bit difficult, to have them look at you and grin and stuff, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
Yeah, and we had fun vacations.
Yeah.
We traveled fun vacations. We modified we put a shoebox type carrier on our little van.
No, it was on the Chevy 2.
No,
Yeah,
Chevy
it was
2.
a van, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was a van. Yeah,
Yeah.
a Chevy 2. And we'd raise that up and prop it up and have a couple of people sleep up there, and we slept in the van and in the shoebox. That was one of our trips.
We didn't like to. We didn't like to pay for motels or stuff, so
Yeah.
we'd prop that thing up in some campground, so we
Yeah,
had
we traveled in.
bathroom facilities and stuff, and that worked out really good.
Went to Yellowstone. We traveled different places with our kids.
And we did quite a few trips in that.
California and Yellowstone.
Did we have that on that when our car got stolen? Was that on the car when it got stolen?
No, that was a different van.
Oh, okay.
We
That's
did have
right.
we had a
We had a vacation once when our car got stolen.
we had another van that we
Yeah,
drove to California, visiting her sister and brother-in-law. As we come back, a tire blew,
well, that was a different time,
And,
yeah.
and the rubber flying off of that opened the gas tank neck, and the car burned up. So we had to bail out of that car in Yermo. We thought Yermo rhymes with thermal. That's right. So that was a different van. That was one of our trips, of course.
Randy was on his mission at the time.
Yeah.
But we,
Yeah, we go fishing with the boys. I don't think Kent got in on it. Just the older boys got in on the fishing.
on that, Kent was in that, it was in the car then.
Oh yeah, he was with us on that. But on the fishing trips,
Oh,
we'd lost interest in fishing, I think, by that time. And he was younger or something. But we did some fishing, and
yeah, we had a couple of adventures in California. Car got stolen and we burned a car. So
How did you get home?
we had to rent a car to get home. Some fellow saw the fire on the freeway and he came to us and said we could go wash up at his place because we'd sifted through and got what we thought might be usable left of the car. And he took us to his house, and then he took us to get a car rental for.
yeah, we've been to Canada and on a trip too. And Brent was driving because Randy was in Hong Kong at that time.
Well, that was when we burned the car, yeah.
Yeah, so we had some adventures.
And you served a mission in Canada.
We did. We went to the Canada-Vancouver mission.
Yeah. Yep.
That was, we were there for a year.
We really enjoyed our mission.
It was good.
Yeah.
What was it like when you got baptized? When you were young?
When I got baptized, Rhea, being 8 years younger than I, had just been born, and mother and she couldn't go. Dad and I were the only ones that went to my baptism, and it was in Garland, Utah, where the font was. And like I said, I'm sure there were other people there, but I only remember me and my dad. There must have been some people there besides us, but I felt very strongly that I was happy that my dad was worthy to do it for me, and I just felt a real strong relationship with him because of just the two of us being there. And so that was a special day for me.
And I was baptized in a irrigating ditch. That we put a dam in the irrigating ditch and swim in it. But that's where some of us were baptized. And I was thinking about how dirty that water was. And I told my kids, but I came out clean as a whistle. And I remember thinking that at the time that baptism washed away all your sins. Now you're at a new start. I remember thinking that.
Yeah.
When was the first time you feel like you knew God was real?
I don't know. We talked about that. I think both of us, as far as we know, we always believed in God. I don't remember any.
I always felt he was real, but I had it confirmed a little bit at one. Probably I was maybe 8 or 9, 10, somewhere out there. There was I had a dream, and a lot of people were just bustling around, thinking that because someone special was coming, and in that dream, to me, it was Jesus, and so that made me think he is there for me, and he's coming. But of course, it was only a dream. But I think the dream came because there was a lot of bustle and hustle, and it's because someone in the church was coming to the ward for some reason. I don't remember who or what, but anyway, I was glad for the dream because it solidified my testimony. About how she took you to on the beach out in San Diego.
Oh, yeah. On one of our vacations out in California,
In San Diego.
we'd go along in San Diego, we'd walk along the beach, run along the beach, and she said, "I'll run circles around you." And she did. I was running along the beach, and she was just running circles around. She was a lot better shape than I was. He'd run circles.
He'd run and she'd come back and circle him, and then he'd run and she'd circle him again.
What?
She'd run a little ways and then come back and circle you, and then
Yeah.
while you were running.
That's,
Yeah.
she ran circles around me. That was interesting.
Oh, and becoming a nurse. Are we glad she became a nurse? She has set her mind on that. Actually, when she was pretty young, she said she wanted to be a surgeon, a brain surgeon. But she didn't follow that through, of course. I think she was probably about 9 or 10 when she was thinking that. But that's after she graduated from high school, she went on and did her got registered and started her nursing school right after. Her friends were going on their summer vacations and that, but she decided, I'm going to get this on the road. So, and she has been such a help for us, especially at our age now, and all the problems we've had. She has been so good. That's something Linda has
Yeah.
always made time for others.
Yeah.
She's always been a caring, loving person, and we've really noticed it this last few years.
She was, she's concerned about her parents right now. And with her nursing experience with this, it's quite an advantage to have her concerned about you. But all of our kids have been caring about their parents, other than that.
Yeah.
But Linda was really taking care of us.
Yeah, we've enjoyed her. She's always been full of energy and fun, and she gives up a lot of her time for others. So she's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she's been a very loving, happy, fun daughter that we love very dearly.
Hmm?
I said we love her dearly, right?
Right.
I was going to ask you what do you think you have in common with my mom, and what do you think is different?
Oh,
What do you think she gets from you?
I'm not sure. What did we?
Well, probably the she likes to accomplish things, do things, accomplish things. And what she got from her mom was a little bit of the looks.
She's a lot better looking than her mom.
Quite a few people think they resemble each other a little bit. But I think that was a lot of it, that she was a goer, doing things. And that's the way that Marie is. She wants to be doing things, accomplishing things.
Well, that's kind of the way you are too. He likes to be busy and get things done.
Yeah.
He likes to sit back and see that he did something good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she likes to see what she has accomplished.
Yeah. Accomplish things. That's right.
How about, let's talk about Christmas.
Oh, okay.
What do you remember about Christmas? What were your traditions that you did?
Oh, yeah.
You talk about your Christmas in Grouse Creek.
Yeah, right. One was Christmas in Grouse Creek, in that small town, and they would always have a dance, and the families come to the dance, and Santa Claus would come to the dance, and you would grab some of the kids and dance around with them. And I remember the Christmas toys I got. One was a stick horse with wheels on it, and a regular old head on it, and a stick horse. And then another one was, that I remembered, was later a little red truck with batteries in it, that the headlights on it, and I could use that little truck to go down and get potatoes out of the cellar. That light.
Use it like a flashlight, huh?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't remember ever having a flashlight. I think that was my flashlight.
Did you have a Christmas tree in your house?
What'd you say?
Did you have a Christmas tree?
Not much for Christmas tree. We had cedar trees out there, and I remember one time we did have candles with clip-on deals, so you could clip on a tree and have a lighted candle for the lights. There's no electricity, of course. But that was a dangerous deal. Putting a lighted candle on a Christmas tree.
They were little candles, but they had set in a little
Yeah,
thing that clipped on the tree.
yeah, and clamp them on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
On the previous, the next morning, I guess it was, my older brothers would get me out and have me look around to see if I could find the deer tracks. Find the deer tracks out there.
Well, Mother and Dad always got the chores done. We were not allowed to do anything but Christmas. We did have a tree, and like a lot of tinsel and stuff hung on it. And Dad had gone to California to a funeral of one of the family, and when he came, while he was there, he managed to get a string of electric lights, which was the first we had seen. And it wasn't just light bulbs. There was a little house. There was a cluster of grapes. There was all kinds of little things on it, so it was pretty special. But after chores, they would come in and we'd have a little bit of breakfast, and then we could open presents, which was maybe one or two a person. You didn't have a lot of things like kids do today. And usually it was in the line of clothes or something very useful. Once in a while, a toy or something, or a game, quite often a game. But so that took place, and then we'd have a light lunch, and then we would go to the church house. And there would be a spiritual meeting for a while, and then we would go into it's called Cultural Hall now, it's just the gym then. And we would go in there and have a children's dance, and Santa Claus came with his little bag of peanuts and candy. Then we'd go home and do chores, and then we'd go back for the adult dance. And Mother and Dad didn't believe in babysitters, so we went back to the adult dance too. And usually a lot of the kids were there. I remember my cousin was always there, and he and I always danced together. And my dad was a good dancer, and he taught me how to dance. So that was Christmas. We come getting the horse in the buggy or in the sleigh with the horses pulling us to the church to go to the dance at night and whatnot. So that was pretty much what happened every year as far as I remember.
I remembered one item that I felt kind of bad about. I remembered that we'd go in and wake my mother up and show her what toys I got. She was in bed asleep. Go wake her up. I got such and such toys. Oh, yeah. I thought, boy, that was a dirty trick. She probably... But a few years later, I remembered that. Waking her up, showing her my toys. Like it was a surprise, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
That it was, those ward Christmas dances were always good. Everybody enjoyed each other, and there was a lot of
Yeah.
the old-time dances, the schottish and the Virginia reel and all those things that were, nowadays they don't get taught those things, but we were taught how to do those things.
No, we don't do much dancing nowadays.
Mm-mm.
Do you?
Nope. Not a dancer.
No.
Too shy for dancing.
My dad was a very good dancer. And it rubbed off. My two sisters and their husbands, two of my sisters and their husbands, were really good dancers. And Shirley and John did a lot of the dance directing over in Tremont area. And their daughter says they wore the rug out practicing at home. But they did a lot. And Naomi and her husband won some trophies dancing. in Las Vegas and a couple places.
Now we did enjoy our family that we raised. I remember you had the question there about Linda.
Yeah.
What was it? Question, what did we admire about Linda or something? What remembered about Linda?
What's a fond memory you have about her? What do you admire about her?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any funny stories about her?
Yeah.
Apparently, she thinks she was in a rodeo that no
She
one.
was what?
That she thinks she was in a rodeo that no one remembers.
I had kind of forgotten that, but I vaguely remember that now.
Yeah. That
Mark
was,
and Kelly had been in one year, and I think it was the next year she was in it.
yeah. It was a little buckaroo rodeo.
Yeah.
That was sponsored by the stake, I guess.
Oh, I don't
Hunsaker's
know.
brother. Vince. Yeah. But
But
hmm?
you want to talk about her now?
Yeah, he had sponsored the Little Buckaroo Rodeo, and so the little buckaroos are riding the different things. And I didn't remember Linda riding anything, but I guess she did.
Yeah. She was. I don't remember what the day was like when she got
I remember
when
Kelly
she was
was.
born. But
Mark,
you're talking about the rodeo still, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
When we brought her home, Kelly had made a bed on the floor for her. He had a nice blanket laid out and one to put over her and a little pillow for her.
yeah.
Everything, and we brought her in and laid her down on the bed that he had made, and he stood there and looked at her for a few minutes, and he says, "What is it?" I says, "A little girl." He says, "Japanese, Chinese, or what?" I says, "She's American like you." But because she had really dark hair and quite a bit of it, and her complexion was a little darker, I guess he
Yeah.
thought she was a different nationality. So that was her welcome home.
Yeah,
And she was a good baby, but she got pneumonia when she was 6 weeks old and scared us good. I had tried to put her to bed at night, and she was fussy, and I could hear her breathing wasn't so good. And I'd lay her down, and then it really wasn't good, so I held her all night. And the next morning, as quick as I could, I took her to the doctor, and he said she had pneumonia in both lungs. He said, he gave her a shot. He said, take her home, and the minute she starts turning, her lips start turning blue, you get right to the hospital. Well, he knew that I'd be right up there, because they had an incubator ready for her. So she spent a week, 5 days, I guess, up there being taken care of with pneumonia. And then she got, of course, she was 6 weeks old. She was pretty calm and easy to take care of then. She got it again when she was 3. They put her in kind of a tent-like thing with oxygen in it. They didn't keep her quiet. She bounced around in there the whole time. Very seldom slept. She was up there 3 days that time. Then the doctor gave her a gamma shot, and I don't think she had anything similar to pneumonia after that. But
we were concerned because she'd had pneumonia young like that would be a problem for her. But she never did have had pneumonia since. I don't think she's ever had pneumonia.
I don't think she has since. But, so those were a couple of experiences that scared us good, because she was really pretty sick that first time. So one of the neighbors had a baby up there at the same time that she had adopted, and so the doctor, we both had the same doctor, and the babies were in the same room. They had so many that year that they had to double up in the rooms. So we took turns staying with the babies, and she told me that he wanted me to go home on Sunday night, and I was thinking I should stay that night. He says, "No, you go home. You are recovering from just having a baby, and Shirley didn't have her. She's okay." And Shirley told me the next day that Dr. Miller stayed there most of the night because she reached a crisis stage, and he wanted to be sure he could get her taken care of. So we came pretty close to maybe not having Linda. So it was kind of a scary time.
Yeah. And some of the things we remember about Linda, I can't remember what the question was, but our answer was that one of the things we remembered that she was determined to accomplish what she was working on. And of course, you can see by that but she learned to ride the bike alone. As she said, her mother helped her, but her mother, only what help she gave was
To keep her off of it.
just, yeah, just worry about her. And then her mission, she served that mission in Portugal. And become an RN. She was a doer. She got things done. She accomplished what she started out to do.
The mission there were a couple fellows really interested in her and didn't want her to go on the mission. And she just said, oh, she had set her mind, and you know Linda, when she decides something's going to happen, then she makes it happen. And she went on the mission, and I thought, yeah, it's good. She didn't marry either of those guys. Came back and found Doug, or Doug found her, one or the other. So, and that's been a good marriage.
She served a real good mission.
Yeah.
She was a good,
had
great
a lot of good
missionary.
reports of her mission. So.
Yeah.
What's the meaning of Christmas for you?
The meaning of Christmas.
Oh,
A lot of it is family,
family.
of course, and then the reason for the season,
and the
the
Savior.
birth of our Savior.
Yeah. Yeah.
We like to make it fun, but we hope that they have always realized, that our children have always realized that the Savior is the center of attention too.
In our family parties, quite often would play out that scene of
The nativity scene,
with
yeah.
the kids. Yeah, you've probably been to some of those that are dressed up with.
Sometimes it gets to be a little hectic and
Yeah.
fun, but it still gives the idea, I think.
Yeah.
And I was noticing in our account with Kelly that a couple of years we didn't have anybody that felt like they wanted to be, that we didn't have any of the younger ones that wanted to do that. So we replayed a DVD of one that we had done before, and then another one we just sang songs and read scriptures for Christmas Eve. So that was something we like to do, is have a Christmas Eve thing, but nowadays we have to have it when we can. But it still means the same.
How many grandkids do you have now?
We have 27 grandkids and 60-some greats.
How many?
And I can't remember the exact numbers.
Greats.
60-some,
About
68
yeah.
greats,
Yeah.
maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So, and we love them all. You don't get as well acquainted with the greats as you do the grandkids, because we have that other grandmother between us and them.
Yep, they get in the way, huh?
Yeah. That's okay.
Yep.
It's been fun to be called to help once in a while. Like I helped your mom with the twins a little bit and whatnot. With the twins that Robert and Stephanie had.
Yeah.
So what do you want your children and grandchildren to learn in life, or what's important for them to know?
How'd you word that? What'd you say that what do we?
What do you hope that your children and your grandchildren learn from life?
What do you want your children and grandchildren to learn?
Well, I think just mostly the gospel and principles and the golden rule, all those things like church teachings. What did you have a quote that?
I think if they follow the teachings that are given in the church, follow the teachings of our Savior, they're going to be happy. There's going to be ups and downs no matter what, no matter who you are or where you are or anything, but the Savior as always should be the focal point.
Yeah.
And if we do that, I think we're going to end up being happy and things go well. We'll still have problems. Problems aren't taken away, but we can handle them if we do things right. And we want to set an example for our children to get on the path to eternity, to return again to our Father in heaven, Father and Mother in heaven.
We've been around for a while.
Yeah.
I think the homes we've lived in since we've been married has been several.
How old are you now?
I'm 95.
I'm 93.
And she'll be 90.
In a month, I'll be 94.
94 next month.
I was going to ask you what's it take to have a successful marriage?
Well, we talked about it. She says best way to describe it is to realize that what is mine is hers. We no longer was my home or my kids. It was our kids and our home. We shared things, looked out after each other. I think that's it. Just concerned for each other and helping.
Not me and mine, it's us and ours, and
Yeah.
it's teamwork, really, and a respect and love for each other. And realize that you're no longer just you. You're a team.
How long have you been married?
Let's see, 51 from
Is it 61?
68 years. 68 years.
68 years?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were married in 51, so it'd be 68. Yeah, we put up with each other for 68 years.
Yep, 68 years.
So,
Yeah.
What
now-
activities did you like to do?
Now what do? We like to do, well, we like to watch jazz. We do enjoy watching sports. We've always been involved with our kids in sports, and so that's been fun for us. We like to go to our church things together,
Yeah.
and
And earlier we liked to travel, but we've lost our desire to travel. We kind of like to stay home. Right?
yep. You know, you
Well,
don't think you'll
one
ever get to
reason
that point, but it gets so homesick.
One reason we
place to
don't,
be.
we don't feel good about driving on the freeways or stuff.
we're to the point where we don't like to be, where we're getting so, driving at night isn't good.
Yeah.
So we're getting not quite as independent, and that's kind of hard.
And we don't even like to, we've been on cruises and things, but we don't even like to travel other than us driving. We don't like to travel very much, like going to England or
Oh, yeah.
or Denmark. But we have been on to Bahamas and around. We've been around all right, but lately we just kind of enjoy being home.
What was your favorite place to visit?
The cruise we took to Canada, where we went
Yeah.
to the Bouchard Gardens and stuff, that was really a pretty
Which
fun
one?
place. The Bouchard Gardens when we went to Canada.
Oh, yeah.
But we've been to the Bahamas a couple times, and this last time we met the Big Mama. The
Yeah.
gal wanted to take us on a sightseeing tour when we got off
Where
at
were-
Nassau, and she took us around and everything, and she'd say, "Come on, babies, Big Mama's ready to go."
Yeah.
And she was quite an interesting tour guide.
We
It was fun.
did have a real good trip on that, on our
Washington,
trip
D.C.
to the honor flight.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
The veterans were given an honor flight, which was paid for, but we had to have a what do we call it?
A guardian.
A guardian, yeah. Had to have a guardian. So we thought maybe my wife could be my guardian, but they didn't like that. They thought she was too old to be my guardian. But it turned out that in this particular time, we had the opportunity of having some of our family take a parallel trip on a different plane, but the same regular trip. And so Brent went and Marie went on that parallel trip. And Ellie was my guardian. She's a,
The reason Allie went was she'd always wanted to go to Washington, D.C.,
yeah,
but the person that went had to pay their own way
yeah.
and had to have the time to go. And Allie was one that had the money to go
Yeah.
and had the time to go. So
So
that's
we
why
had
she was
the
chosen.
four of us going on that trip, actually. It was
Yeah.
really a great trip. Went back to
That was the one honor flight, I think, that the family was able to go and coordinate with them. So we were lucky there.
yeah.
They didn't do it again. They said it was just too hard to coordinate everything because we landed at the same time they did. We went to the same hotel. We had the same dinner schedule, and when we'd go places, we'd go on a separate bus, but we'd meet them there. So we were just like we were with them all the time anyway. But it took a lot of coordinating to get it
Yeah,
going.
that was a real good trip.
That was fun.
And we visited the area where the national anthem was written.
Yeah, you and Allie got to see that. Brent and I had to leave
you
the day
didn't get
before.
yeah, Ellie and I did. And that was kind of inspirational. Oh, say can you see, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting to be there. Yeah. But I think that's, she'd been on trips before she was married. She went to Washington, no, where'd you go?
Well, my sisters and I
What?
and a couple of one of my roommates, when we picked another of my old roommates up off of her mission in Illinois, I think it was Illinois. But we went back east, went up around through into Canada a little ways and down through Niagara Falls
So
and
the
into New York.
Statue of Liberty, right?
Mhm.
Went in the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, we went to the Statue of Liberty.
So she had that was an interesting trip for her. Then she always enjoys going to Grouse Creek.
I don't know if I believe that.
No.
You know, I was glad I didn't go with him the first time before he went on his mission. I think he'd asked me out there a couple times and I didn't go. And they came back, they had flat tires and more than one in the same car.
Yeah.
And you had one when you came back from that reunion thing.
Yeah.
Got another flat tire.
We had a reunion out there. I don't know there. You didn't get out of Grass Creek, did you? Or did you?
I think
On a reunion?
I think we did one time.
You did one time?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Well, might have done,
It
yeah.
was when I was young though, so I don't remember too much about it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we had a tire blowout on that trip. But the things that I enjoy about Grouse Creek is that's where I was born, and that's where I went finding birds' nests and all those things. That was exciting. And
Arrowheads
riding horses.
You found arrowheads and stuff like that.
Finding arrowheads, yeah. Riding horses. It was great. So it was a lot of fun for me to go there. And I took the kids there a time or two.
And they thought it was okay, didn't they? They thought it was okay.
Oh, yeah, they enjoyed it.
They had fun.
We went to the, well, there's an area that we call the Cotton Thomas Basin that we visited and camped in. And the coyotes were howling, and I remember Brent saying, "Let's go home." Let's go home.
He thought he was going to get eaten up.
What?
Probably thought he was going to get eaten up by the
Yeah,
coyote.
that was scary out there on that long way, that lonely area, and the coyotes howling.
Jan was so excited to have a baby sister. But she was not the little girl type that Jan was. Jan liked to play with dolls and stuff, play school. Linda wanted to do exercise stuff. She wanted to be outside playing and stuff. So I thought, usually they'd say, "Oh, you need to have your girls play with dolls so they'd be good moms." And I thought, maybe Linda won't be a good mom. She doesn't play with dolls. But she's one of the best moms there is, right?
Yep.
So she didn't have to play with a doll to be a mom.
Yeah.
Jan's a good mom too, and she played with dolls,
Good.
but that isn't prerequisite.
Yeah.
So you say you like to watch the Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your favorite sport to watch? Is basketball or?
Oh, it just kind of depends on what's on, I guess that's one of our favorites. You kind of get to know those guys a little bit. Like Donovan Mitchell, he stand out, and he seems like a good guy. Now, if the guys don't look aren't good sports, even though they're a terrific player, I don't like them. Kick them off.
Who would that be?
Oh, the beard. What's his name?
James Harden.
Yeah. Oh,
So is Donovan your favorite player right now?
right now he is. Do you have a favorite? Donovan and Jinglin Joe. Jinglin Joe is fun.
And the center, Gordon, Gordon Hayward was popular. But
Yeah.
Gobert.
Gobert, yeah.
Gobert's good, yeah.
we
Hayward played with the Jazz and then went to the Celtics and got injured and hasn't played good since.
yeah.
That's what they get for leaving.
Yeah. Same thing happened with old, what's his name?
Do you watch the Jazz quite a bit?
Yeah, I try to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Donovan. Yep.
Yeah.
And Joe. Yeah.
But he seems like a really nice guy. Giving away his shoes to those kids are so excited to get those shoes. He does things for people all the time.
We also liked watch, like Daggies and BYU and University of Utah
Yeah. You name it, we'll watch it.
and
Well, we enjoyed watching Robert play when he played baseball. I used to play a lot of softball, so that was really interesting
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. And you had kids that went to different high schools,
Right.
right?
We ended up, when we moved up here, Randy had 1 year of high school left, so he stayed with Logan. Brent was just starting high school, so he went to Skyview. Kelly had 1 year left of junior high, so he stayed with Logan. Jan was just starting junior high, so she went to South Cache. And Linda and Mark were at the elementary school here, and Kent wasn't in school yet. So the Skyview bus would go by. The Logan cheerleaders would come up and decorate the fence before a football game because Randy played football with Logan stuff on it. And the Skyview bus would go by. Boom! Brent would climb on the Skyview bus. It was kind of funny. But we survived it.
yeah, got acquainted with a lot of people, a lot of PTAs. Huh?
Yeah. It's interesting, quite a few younger people seem to know who we are, not because of us, but because of our kids or grandkids. I guess because we used to go to a lot of the games and things. We tried to go to them.
Yeah, a lot of kids, young kids think we should know who they are, and we don't.
Yeah.
But they've grown up, we've stayed the same.
All we did was gain wrinkles.
Yep. Wrinkles. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's all the questions I have.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys have thought of or want to share or say? Or
No.
We probably shared more than you wanted to hear.
it's good. I don't hear a lot of these stories. I should ask more questions, I guess.
Well,
Yeah, I've I apologize talking so much about the military, but I was trying to show you why I was in there 3 years and never went overseas. I was in the service 3 years, all those schools.
so you,
And I went to the State Teachers College for my college training in Pennsylvania, Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. So I got around.
And your brothers were in the military.
What'd you say?
Your brothers were in the military too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, different story. Norman was in the armored division, of course. He went in.
Norman was with Patton and all that.
He spent
He
quite a
really
few.
had the
He
experiences.
spent a lot of time overseas. Africa, Italy, Africa and Italy and
Oh, yeah.
England and Germany. He spent an awful lot of time overseas and got medals. He was good. Yeah. I've got good conduct medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting that people came up from family history, wanted to interview him about his experiences, and they knew all about him, actually.
Oh
They
yeah,
had-
the family
They brought all
search.
these pictures that you've seen,
Yeah, the family search come up here and
but
made special.
they said the reason they chose him was because it was one family with 4 brothers in each of the different branches of the service, and they all returned home. So that was the reason he was chosen to be taught to. But the real reason they came to interview him wasn't not for the interview, because they knew all about him. They had his story and everything, pictures. They had to get his signature that it was okay to use him.
And I think
That was the
that's
big
probably
thing.
good to get my approval to use it. Another story on that, the brothers, is that my oldest brother was killed in an accident in Grass Creek when I was in the cadet training. So he was the only one that died, and he was the one that was supposed to be home alone, home and safe, and he was the one that died. And my other younger brother was young enough he didn't really get involved, but he had also had an elbow chip that made him disqualified for that. He couldn't have gone into the service, I don't think. Maybe, he probably couldn't have got into the service because of his disability. He's 4F. So we had a few brothers around. Yeah. And I'm the only one remaining of the
Out of 10 children, you're the
of
only
10
one
children.
left.
I'm the only survivor. And that's because she feeds me the right food.
What's your favorite food?
What's your favorite food?
Well, I don't know as I have much favorite food.
He's learned to put
I
up
know
with everything.
when I was a kid growing up, we had beans, beans.
What kind of beans? Not green beans.
No, the
Chili beans.
chili beans. Only it wasn't chili;
Red
it was beans. Beans on put on bread. Do you have chili beans when you? No, you probably wouldn't have got.
I have beans in tacos and burritos and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
usually not just beans.
Yeah. Well, I liked. I remember I liked fried potatoes and cream corn. I remember that one of my special meals at Grass Creek. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that still your favorite?
Oh, yeah, well, I still like it. Well, we don't have fried potatoes. They're too greasy. Not as healthy as other potatoes. So we don't have fried potatoes hardly at
Not
all.
very often.
No.
What about you, Grandma?
How about chocolate and ice cream?
Yeah. Yeah, chocolates.
Hot chocolate. I like hot chocolate too.
Yeah. But
I
also,
like bread and rolls. I'm kind of big on that kind of stuff.
and pizzas. You like pizza?
I bottled fruit, peaches and pears and
Yeah,
apricots.
yeah,
And in the summer, we eat a lot of
Yeah.
fruit.
yep. But
We got in the habit of that because we were both working. We'd come home and open a bottle of fruit. It was easy to do. Then in winter, we opened a can of soup.
I think the healthy food we had at Grouse Creek was quite often we had ground wheat used as cereal, as cereal. We'd grind the wheat and cook it,
Oh, yeah.
and also
So,
then also the beans and carrots and so forth. We didn't have much fancy food. Oh,
we
flour
didn't.
mush.
I didn't have flour mush, but
The Danish part was the having flour mixed up with milk, flour and milk made a paste, and sometimes we would have sugar and cinnamon on it. Did you have that?
yeah.
She's from Danish area too. And the porridge, we'd have the flour, the flour and milk and more liquid and put it on, break bread in it. So
I didn't have that.
that was probably what we could afford out there. But you didn't get any of the flour mush, did you?
Nope.
We don't have that much anymore.
Nope.
But I had flour. We had what we call flour mush with cinnamon and
Yeah.
sugar on it.
Remind me where you went on your mission?
Paraguay.
Paraguay. I kept thinking Uruguay, and I knew that wasn't right. Paraguay.
Yeah,
Someone was asking me where I got the nativity that you gave me, and I said,
yeah,
it's one of the Guays, but I couldn't remember which. Paraguay.
yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Do either of you play instruments?
What?
Do you play an instrument? I play the piano when I'm alone.
Yeah, she plays piano good.
I was to take my 10th lesson the day I had appendix out. And then I had complications after that, and I never did get back to lessons again. But just before I got engaged, I was working in Salt Lake, and I found a guy that taught how to play with chords. And so I thought I wanted to learn that. So I went to him and took a couple lessons and then got engaged. And so I wasn't going to be in Salt Lake anymore. He says, well, I'll give you this course, but you have to work at it. He gave it to me, and I didn't work at it. So I guess I still have it somewhere. I ought to work at it now.
The instrument I played was the willow whistle,
Yeah, willow whistle.
and that wasn't the instrument. You could make a whistle out of the willows with the.
When I was in elementary school, we all got harmonicas, and I played the harmonica.
Yeah.
I don't do well with it now, but I did learn to play
Have
it.
you ever made a whistle out of willows?
I haven't.
One of the recent trips at Grouse Creek, we visited our old ranch. And Merlin Tanner's my cousin. He also was living in that house. And he was saying how he never could make the whistles work. So I showed him how to make a whistle. We had the willows right out of our area, right, the meadows and that. And he was down in the dry part of Grouse Creek. Didn't have willows to experiment with. So I taught him how to pass my skill off to my husband, Merlin Tanner.
You
Interesting.
played an instrument for a while?
I play the guitar. Yeah, Catherine taught me
Yeah, that's right.
a little bit, and then I've just kind of.
Well, didn't you play
I
something
played the
in
clarinet too.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how to play that. That was middle school, I think.
You say
My
you don't.
brother played the trombone, and my oldest sister played the clarinet, and another older sister played a baritone, and I wanted to play the bass drum, and Grandpa had this big bass drum, and Mother kind of was involved with a band that the kids were in. They were also in the band when they were in high school, and she says, "You're too little to play that big drum." So I never got in the band
Yeah.
with the big drum.
You say you don't remember how to play the clarinet, huh?
I
But
don't
you still
know.
play the guitar, huh?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Justin played the trumpet,
Yeah.
and Jessica the flute.
Right.
I don't think Robert did anything.
You know, when
don't
I
think Amber did.
I had a nephew, Warren Ellen, my sister Merle's child, Warren, and he ended up being a pilot for that airline, and he was a fan of the B-29, and so he kept me up to date on the B-29, how much it cost to fly it and so forth, and they put some of them back in the air, most of the museums. And come time they're going to put this other B-29 back in and fly it. And I got thinking, I bet you I can't even start that B-29 anymore. I used to start the engines on the B-29. I had the engine instruments in front of me, and the pilot was over here and the co-pilot over here. And so when you said you couldn't remember how to play the clarinet, that's the way I went that B-29. I don't think I could have started it. I could have gone down there and helped him start that B-29, and I wouldn't have known how to do it. Well, I'd known a little bit about it. But you can forget things.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take much to forget them. Sometimes they come back once you start practicing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we probably jumbled that all up for you, so you don't know what you got.
No, that's all right.
But you can cancel.
We can cut it and
You can
flip
cut
it
it out.
around and
Yeah. Okay.
put all
Yeah.
the topics together.
Well, it's been fun.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for doing this.